All right. So a lot of these celebrities and such, they go into these marriages with agreements, right? Because a marriage is an agreement of sorts. Covenant agreement between two people to go into this covenant together. But they go into a different type of agreement.
Are you talking about these prenups?
Prenuptial agreement. So what do you think about that?
Let's talk about it.
And everything we share just elevates the marriage. It's me and your Tausch's horse and carriage. Oh, and I knew that I found love when I found you. And I hold you all so close, 'cause I love you.
Okay, so
I knew he had an opinion on it for sure.
Let's just keep it real.
Let's.
We know that, first of all, let's just give the definition. So you're talking about
Definition of a prenuptial.
the prenuptial agreement is it's before the marriage,
Before the nuptials.
It's an agreement
that we came
between these individuals to be able to retain or control legal rights, before the marriage to basically protect themselves or oneself, should there be a separation and or divorce in the marriage.
And there's it could be about money, property,
yes,
investments,
any type of assets, typically,
right? Any type of assets.
What it usually ends up being.
There also could be some conditions in it. It may not be an all or none type of thing. It may be, well, I get this amount if we have children.
Right.
I get this amount if there's infidelity. I get this amount, I don't know. I would hope nobody would put something like if you get sick. Because anyway, go ahead.
It's cold-blooded. It's
cold-blooded. But I'm just saying that it goes against the very vows that you will take. However, this is before the nuptials. Right. So, well, there you go. Here's the agreement.
It's you sign it before the nuptials, right? But it's almost walking into marriage with a plan to fail. Quite frankly, when you enter the Christian institution of marriage,
the covenant,
which is what it is.
Correct.
It's not a contract. It's
not an agreement, because I said that earlier. Not that type of agreement.
It's not an agreement of sorts that. There's no rights. The right you have is to die to yourself to become one with
your spouse. Yes.
What's hers is yours, and what's yours is hers. That's what it should be. And marriage has been kind of tainted in a way that this has become acceptable, or even almost a requirement in some situations. Because if you walk into a marriage and let's say one is, maybe not as well off, or there's been, family money, so to speak, I may have you sign this just because, it's just for protection in the family because, they're siblings and, blah, blah, blah. And we all have to split this money, the family business, whatever the case is. Man, it is a plan to fail, because you should not be walking into your marriage with the thought of it failing.
Or whatever idea you may have of coming out of it. Because that's what you're thinking about when you sign that. You're saying, okay, when this ends, this goes into effect, right? This document, this agreement goes into effect when this ends.
Right.
But if I plan for this to never end, then I don't have to sign anything. We're going to work through it. So something you said when we were kind of discussing it, it becomes a matter of trust.
That's exactly what it is.
It really becomes a matter of trust, because this is till death do us part. I want to be with you for the rest of my life, or the rest of your life, whichever comes first, right? And if that's the case, then I'm not looking at there being
an escape clause, so to speak.
An escape clause. Good. That's good. That's good. Exactly.
There is no. The only escape is death.
Oh my goodness.
That's it.
Let that sit for a minute.
Think about that.
The only escape
is death.
Come on.
That's it. And that's how you should look at it. And if you are so bent on getting a prenuptial agreement, and that's a requirement,
don't do it.
Don't do it. Because there's an element in your marriage that is definitely a requirement that doesn't exist wholly. And that's trust.
And you start to question it. This is just our opinion, right? I think you start to question that person's, the spouse, the person you're going to marry, their integrity,
right?
Their character.
Absolutely.
And if those are those foundational things you are questioning before you even get married, I think you got to have a talk. I think you have to have a talk, not only with the spouse, but with yourself. Why am I going into a lifetime covenant with someone who I'm questioning their integrity and character? If something happens to me, or hey, this doesn't work out, if whatever, that's the first no, right? But if it does, I think he's going to do something that he shouldn't. I think he's going to take advantage of me. I think he's going to leave my kids hanging. I think he's going to
That's what
do
I was
this and
going to
that.
say.
No.
Yeah, some people think, it's for my kids, it's to protect my kids. Well, quite frankly, if you marry this person, they should come before your kids.
And they should be responsible enough and love your kids like their own that they're going to take care of them too.
That shouldn't be a worry.
Right.
If you don't have that much trust that person is going to care for your children, should something happen to you, you don't need to marry them.
Don't do it. Don't do it. Now, of course, we're talking about prenuptial agreements.
Right.
And most of our audience, of course, is probably married already, because this is Elevate Marriages.
But you might be in one. You may be in one right now. You just never know.
Yes, you already have it in place. I hear they have them post-nuptial agreements as well.
Absolutely.
So it could be either way.
The key is that we're just saying that it's a space of mistrust that needs some working out. It really does need some working out. And we hear about it all the time. And quite frankly, we know that the divorce rate is high in the United States. Unfortunately, sometimes even higher in the church. But it's the risk that you take. But I will say this: I can remember Michelle Obama making a quote about her and President Obama being married 30 years, and issues that they might come up with and come in contact with and deal with. But if she could take 20 out of the 30 were good times and only 10 were bad, she'd deal with those odds. And I would have to agree with her. If I know that, man, I'm for the most part, 75% of what I deal with is going to be happiness and bliss, man, I'll take those odds any day with this woman. Because there's going to be challenges. There are going to be ups and downs and conflict that takes place. But the key is you go into it knowing that you're going to work together through sickness and in health, for richer, for poorer, for better, for worse.
I was just going to say that. You agree?
Death do you part.
Right.
That's what it is. That's what the agreement is for.
That's right.
And if you don't take those vows seriously, which I know we get away from those vows sometimes, but that's what it is. You may not need to be doing that, or maybe you should not have done that, or there should be some adjustments that you make so that whoever the person you made the agreement with at that time, you can say, you know what, let's just tear it up.
I agree. It's not too late.
Never too late.
I think it establishes an even stronger bond and trust when you can come back and say, hey, this is what I was thinking. Or maybe it wasn't you thinking it at all. It could have been your mom in your ear, or the family lawyer in your ear, or your dad in your ear, whoever. You know, somebody else put that thought there. But I still say, take some time, back up from it, and really think about it and see what needs to happen, what kind of conversation needs to happen so you can establish a strong foundation of trust.
Now, some of you may say, oh, y'all wrong. Nah, I'm doing it.
I'm okay with that.
That's cool. You wrong, but you know, that's fine. You may not agree with this.
Yeah, you don't have to agree with it, but I just consider it. How about that?
Yes.
I'm not saying agree with it. Consider it.
Absolutely. Because I'll tell you one thing. If there's trust in that space that you have an issue with, there's going to be trust issues in other areas as well. That'll rear its head, and you know, you don't give the enemy any room to cause any conflict or any issues in your marriage. Don't give it any room, because none of that stuff matters anyways.
Oh yeah, and that's what I was gonna say. Be careful of where your treasures lie.
Right.
Be careful of that, because now you're starting to say, because usually a prenuptial agreement is about some, like James said, it's an asset, right? Something. But now I may be holding that a little bit higher, trying to hold and protect and do all these things to protect that treasure, and missing out on the treasure that's right next to me.
Right.
So keeping that in mind, and how that may be perceived by your spouse.
Absolutely. Well, there you have it. That's our thoughts. It may be for you, it may not be, but share it anyway.
Exactly.
All right. So next time, do the best you can until you know better. And when you know better, do better. I'm James Lee.
And I'm Tasha Lee.
I'll talk to you soon.
Bye.
Peace.